am Kurdish and with a 1,000-year background in Iran.
We have a very beautiful culture that talks about life and always peace and beauty and color. There is a long history of persecution for Kurdish people before revolution and after. It's social, economic, and political. So many Kurdish people have been killed under the previous regime and under this system. Just by saying you are Kurdish is just like a crime. Like my daughter's name is Clara, but they didn't allow me to give her this name, and they forced me to choose another name.
My parents are my heroes. They are incredibly resilient. Not just because they're my parents, but very few people have gone through as much as they have and have come out of it so strong and so passionate.
This is your dad and this is your dad's uncle. Many times he talks about him. He was politically active. He was very young, but very handsome guy, and he was very active in non-violence organization. And he's been killed in front of his eyes, and he never forget. The first time I got arrested, I was very young. I was 14 years old. I was thinking of equality, justice, advocating for my people. I was writing something on the wall. I was writing, "The land belongs to those who work on them." Police grabbed us. We went to the prison. They asked you the same question: who are you? What did you do? Which organizations you belong to? And then my family could come and see me.
My parents knew each other from when my mom was 13 or 14. They were activists together. And my dad was a youth leader, and they believed in the same things, and that brought them closer.
At the age of 18, I was married with Azad Muradian. He was a wonderful man. He was a poet. He was very kind, very deep in love. So I fell in love with him. A couple months later, we were having lunch with my family. Suddenly, like 4 people, 5 people, they came inside with the gun, and they said, "Okay, Soraya and Azad, we want you, you should come." And in the beginning, they put me in the solitary confinement. The interrogator told me, "You tell us one by one these people, who they are and what they do."
During interrogation, she was often physically tortured. There's this thin wooden board that they use to tie you up to it, and then they beat the sole of your feet. Just anything they could do to basically make her feel worthless and less than a person. My father had been tortured, and they would often tell him that they had killed my mom, and so they would use their love for each other as like a weapon.
It was 2 weeks. They allowed me to see my husband. I felt like light comes from a window. They didn't allow us to hug, of course. They said, no touch, no Kurdish talk, just a few minutes, and then go back to we take you back to your cells. The only thing I told him, I said, "I don't feel right, I feel very sick." And he said, "Don't worry, everything is gonna be okay." I soon realized that I am pregnant, and I was still in solitary confinement. And I wanted to share it with everybody. I wanted to share it with my family, with my father. I wanted to share it with my husband. After I was in 3rd month of the baby, one of the days that they tortured me, I felt something inside me like ripped, like my heart. And I find out that I am bleeding. I was very loud. I was very loud. I was knocking the door, I was screaming, I want to see doctor, I want to see my husband, you can't shut me up, I want to see my family. But he said, no doctor. And finally, I felt nothing moving inside me. Finally, I lost the baby.
And she had to care for that herself without any clean water. And it's also very, very cold in Kurdistan. And she was only given one small blanket that was soaking in blood. And they wouldn't change it for her.
So many horrible things happened. So many. Prison, torture, losing baby, seeing friend that front of you dying. But I told myself I should remain active. I should be voice of those women and children that never made it out of the prison.
One of the things that always amazed me the most about my mom is that she doesn't hold a grudge against the guards. She's spoken with anger towards the regime and towards the conditions that Iran is in, but her level of compassion and understanding is beyond me.
This is your father and I, and after 6 months, when I got free from prison, and I felt free. Well, it was a hard time, but we were very happy, very glad about seeing each other after a long time.
You were still newlyweds. One of the most incredible times for them was when they finally saw each other and they were both alive, and because so many of their friends weren't. And I guess I was conceived during that time, so it must have been good. When the authorities found out that my mom was pregnant again, they came for her, and my grandpa cried out saying, "No, you can't take her, she's pregnant." And they turned around and said, "Well, that's exactly why we're taking her, because she's pregnant and we don't want that child to turn out the way she has." She turned out to be pregnant, with me. I was that child, and I guess they didn't succeed in their goal, because I hope that I have some of the resilience that my mom has, and I hope that I can become half the woman she is.
And today I know we can have harmony. We all can work for human rights, for freedom, for respecting each other. Those people that they cannot speak for themselves.